Hey everybody, how you doing? Tuesday Thoughts, week number 30. And I'll tell you the way this cycle runs, if you're not familiar with it, you haven't seen the introductory video for stuff that I have pinned up on some of my social media, is that these are designed originally to go to the Indiana FFA State Officer Team, just for a little thing for them. Did it by email for a while. Now I still do the email, but I link the video as well. So that's why the timing of this works out that week number 30, I happen to know, is the day after Martin Luther King Day. So today's quote comes from him, and I think it's a pretty profound one. It says, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of education." Came across that a few years ago and just absolutely floored me. Love the idea of that, and I think it really encapsulates what it is that we as individuals are trying to do as educators of whatever type it is that we are. Okay? Whether that's public school, private school, homeschool, whether it's preschool, elementary, secondary, post-secondary, adult education, just within an organization trying to be a leader and educate and lead people from that. But truly, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of education. Now, as a result of that concept, when we analyze how we teach, but also as we look at ourselves then from what we're learning, leads us to the next quote, which is, if you're not happy, change or choose to be satisfied. Okay? Hopefully it's something as we always look at ourselves, it's not that we are unhappy, but we should be always wanting to make changes, to find ways to be better for that. And if you're not doing that, then you've chosen to stay where you are. And so that should be something that you are satisfied with, because that's what you're willing to accept at that point. Okay, so on to our fun fact for the week, random fact for the week. The first mobile device to be called an iPhone was made by Cisco, not Apple. Allow the user to use the voice functions of Skype without a computer. Yes, Skype. That's dating me. Probably dating some of you as well, right? So Apple announced its own product just 22 days later. And they sued, Cisco sued for trademark infringement. The lawsuit was eventually settled out of court, and both companies were allowed to keep using the name. You've just probably never heard of the Cisco iPhone. Interesting and random. Apple wasn't the first, but they stuck it out and kept it going. And our word for the week, Wabbit. Cartoon character Elmer Fudd, we're probably familiar with him for using that for, we're calling Bugs Bunny a wascally wabbit. We're saying to him, I'm hunting wabbits, right? So people thought that it's because that was his way of speaking, but perhaps he was actually using the word wabbit, which means weary or exhausted, not rabbit. So just a little bit of random stuff there for you. But really, out of all the stuff this week, really think about that Martin Luther King Jr. quote. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of education. Hope you have a great week.